Alright, a very warm welcome to the FFA Tournament Group D game. This is game number one of what could be as many as five games today. It's first to two wins, and our four competitors: Tesseract, CNN, aka Andreas G, Death Tacticus, and Philothanic. They are our four gladiators, and to witness all of the action, I have alongside me King Morgan. That is an early found.
Unsurprising. I mean, the water. Those three tiles are the only water tiles. A
Are
low
they
feature.
literally? Oh wow, they're literally the only tiles on the map with a bunch of ice in the north, but still, that's going to mean water's really tricky for everyone else.
And of course nukes. So I can expect we're going to see a few robots and a lot of people. Everybody's going to have to go up north now, I think.
Yep. Well, Tesseract decides to do that. Philothanic goes expansive in the northeast, and DT with the completely waterless start with the robot in the south, and he gets the quick upgrade as well because he crushed, I would imagine, a bunch of iron.
Yeah, he's obviously making a power play. He's getting some carbon in. Although he's got a few more steel mills coming down, so maybe he's saving the power maybe for HQ3. Andreas HQ2 now. He took the early water scavenger. It's going to be interesting to see how long his water tiles last.
Yeah, it will be. Nukes, of course, on the map. There's only three of those tiles. One of them is a medium, so I would expect, to be completely honest, that to be nuked out in relatively short order, maybe even before he can purchase a goon. Like you said, he's at that HQ2 level now, but his debt is going to be a concern. It was a lot of debt that he founded with, and he's already up at almost $50,000. That's something that he'll need to work out, probably at HQ3.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult to see how he's going to manage that debt with the power price. I mean, got to make a power play.
Yeah.
Death Tacticus, well, he's already made his power play. Two wind tide birds come down.
Yeah, not amazing win, but still okay win. There's one very strong tile, one moderate tile, so he's getting, what's he going to be getting? 2.7 per second from that, so he's going to be making money from that in relatively short order. My concern is that when life support gets a bit more expensive, he's just not going to have any access whatsoever to that market.
Well, he's going to have to go for some condensers up north. It's a fair trek to bring them in, but I don't know if he can get in early.
Yeah, it could work out. It could work out because he'll have the power price under control, presumably. Tesseract also in a geotherm as well, so he's maybe looking to make a little bit of money from this this power play too. Philothanic deciding instead to go for the early life support, has the two reactors down along with his double aluminium mines and the two steel as well.
I don't know. It's difficult to make sure the power gets in at the right time, because otherwise it's very easy to slip.
Yep, certainly is. So DT with the mutiny on the geotherm gets that 2 power a second, and now he's making a lot of power money, 500 a second from his 3.6 surplus power, gets to that HQ3, only just behind Andreas with the scavenger that founded very, very early indeed. He's going, though, for those 3 wind turbines as well, and might just be a little bit late on this one. He'll be able to pay off some of his debt, but that's 75k. I don't think he's going to pay... Certainly, I don't think he'll pay most of it off even. I think he'll barely make a dent with that, with those 3 pretty expensive wind turbines.
Yeah, well, there's enough consumption, I think, for him to pay a little bit of debt off, but DT's moving into a third turbine. Philothantic's going to have to do something with power shortly, so I don't know, there may be a little window for him to pay something off. But we'll have to see. He's going to have to. We're not going to be able to take any auctions at all. He's going to have to watch his debt so carefully.
Yeah.
He's got 2 electrolysis down as well, which is going to take some of his power. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that turns out and how aggressive DT gets.
Yep. Well, if history's taught us anything, it's that DT will be aggressive. So he's going to have to watch out for that.
Yeah, he's gone into a couple of extra solar panels as well.
Yep. Once again, the power is being taken away by Death Tacticus. He's all over that market.
He wants the power, all of it. Fantastic. Moved into 2 farms, just choosing not to do anything for power for a minute, which Up turning.
Yeah, and not choosing to do anything for water for the time being either, which is fine while it's at 20, but in the
His
longer term,
debts, his debt's increasing. 50k debt now, a couple of interest ticks, and he's in big trouble.
yeah, he is. He's not in any power whatsoever, as you said, and really looking to make money while he can. He is the expansive, so he's got that particular advantage as well. He'll have the late game claims to compete well.
He'll have to push it late though.
Yeah,
Getting into debt, well, we've seen this tournament getting into debt early is difficult. It's a sticky situation to be in.
yeah, it is, and
Tick loses his iron to a nuke.
yeah, it's don't know. It's a bit concerning. DT feels like he's close to being in control of this game, although again, like that late game with this robot down here, without really any access to life support income at all, is going to be a little bit difficult. And with water at 70, it's a little bit of a... It's becoming a really profitable market now, and he gets his stuff frozen out as well, his power and his electronics, which he just built. So they are going to be shut down for a while.
Yeah, I think DT's going to move down the bottom of the board. His electronics and glass, I would imagine. He'll find some silicon. I mean, Philothantic's got his solar condensers down, and he's earning some decent money. He's been able to sell a little bit of water down. He's got a big surplus there for the minute. It's, Tesseract's also getting into some condensers, so price of water's coming down.
Yeah.
DT could possibly buy a little stockpile and move into it if he wanted to.
Yeah, and that solar flare really making things very convenient for our icebound compatriots up here. Tesseract and Phil taking advantage.
Yeah, we got Andreas. He's not really managed to pay any debt down. 88k debt for him, unfortunately. But he's in a reasonable position, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean
money.
he's got access to cash, which is excellent as DT gets his wind turbine blown up. Also building a hacker array. DT, we know he loves to do that, and he's true to form here.
Yeah, imagine electronics is going to be the market.
I would think so. No one else in that particular market just yet.
Well, yeah, Andreas is with his scavenger.
Oh, he is. Yeah.
And, I mean, DT will probably just target those down.
Yeah, I wonder what he's gonna. I wonder if it is going to be electronics because yeah, Andreas does.
It's electronic shortage.
It is electronic shortage. So.
Colony is consuming electronics, but.
Oh no! Hang on. It's an iron shortage. He's hacking iron, which is pretty interesting. Anyone else have any iron? I guess not.
Philothantic's. He's just had to take another claim.
Yeah, and that goes. Oh dear. And yeah, DT all over that, putting a medium iron tile down and not gooning it. Big mistake from Philothanic because as soon as it finished, the nuke came down. DT with a nuke in response. This one on DT's iron, but DT has a big stockpile.
The Tesseract's had his iron frozen.
Yeah.
So DT doesn't want anybody anywhere near iron while he's running this hack.
Yeah, you can see this is something that does separate our very good players from our merely good players. Is just this concentration of action around this iron market, which is designed to give DT a large amount of profit, which I think he's going to get. I don't think anyone else is in a position really to compete with this hack.
No. Philothantic's leaking 1.1 iron a second. Andreas has had his frozen out, so he's got that in stock. So yeah, the iron market's wide open for him.
Yep, and that is 800 iron that he has, and he's completely... Wow, he's going to get just a huge amount of profit from this hack.
It's going to be nice. But Andreas has moved into HQ level 5, gone into some chemicals, farms there, reasonably profitable.
Yep, something else to note about the iron players that DT network virusing Philothanic's steel mills just as he bought into all of that iron. So yeah, that's something else that just gets him a little bit of money and denies a bit more from his opponents. Here's an interesting auction, teleportation.
I think DT's going to pay for it well. He wants it at any price.
Yeah,
Understandable. He doesn't want to be paying that power money to ship his water in.
Yeah, I mean it's and it's cheap for him as well in the sense that even though it was 48k of debt and he's going straight into Andreas, who does not have the money to defend himself. So we'll return to that thought in a second. But I think DT is going to claim his first victim here. Maybe not. Maybe Andreas has enough. It's going to be really close. He needs to sell everything down. Doesn't quite have it. Nope,
Wow.
not in time. DT gets his first victim. Philothanic tries to respond, but he's not honestly really a threat with the amount of money that he has.
No, he's not, is he? That Iron Hack gave DT just enough.
Yeah, and just the early upgrade, and yeah, Philothanic. Of course, DT does DT things. Nobody in any doubt as to which of these players is Death Tacticus at this point.
No. Wow, level 4 hacker array.
Yeah.
Nice.
Network virus on steel, nukes on iron. Just all very signature plays. Tesseract not going to fall for that same particular trick twice. He's got all of these iron mines, including the high, now producing iron.
A little bit late, unfortunately.
Yep, that is
He's
long.
Profitable markets.
Yep, and the glass hat coming in. Yeah, the iron collection. Long after the horse has bolted, he's shutting that particular door. Let's get his electronics frozen out.
HQ level 5 though, if he wants it, which he doesn't. Everything's going into his glass hack, which I don't know if it's going to be enough to clean up the game.
It'll certainly be enough to make, well, to worry Philothanic at the very least. I think it's although this isn't a particularly effective hack. He's only going to have sort of 200 or so of that glass because it started so expensive, and it is the absolute volume of the thing that you're buying that matters rather than the value of it that affects how much profit you get from it. So if you've got 1,000 iron, that's much cheaper. That's a much more effective hack than this, but still, he's going to have a bit of money.
Yeah, he's going to make a decent chunk there, but Philothanic probably, well, a little bit concerned him going to the patent lab there.
Oh, that is an extremely greedy upgrade from Tesseract. Not sure about that with DT having so much money. DT on 67% might not be able to finish that buy, but Tesseract has almost no cash now.
I imagine when this glass, that was a very unwise move. Probably 50 glass is going to come through any second now. An electronics hack. DT sub is in electronics, so it won't be too bad for him. I can't see that Philothantic's got enough cash to run a patent lab and possibly, well, he's going to have to defend himself. He's not using his patent lab, which is a bit silly.
Yeah, did he get slant drilling from that patent lab, or was that a yeah, he did. It wasn't an auction, so he did pick that up.
But I don't know.
It gives him those 2 low iron, which he felt he needed.
Well, I methink DT could take Tesseract now, I think. Without too much problems.
Yeah, he's reasonably close. 85%. I think he's going to wait for this one last hack to come through.
Philothantic there looking vulnerable as well, but wow, Philothantic's just got a huge wad of cash or something.
Where did he get that from? I don't know. Well, I guess he's been building that for a while because he has been making glass, which is very, very profitable. 200 apiece for these glass kilns. So he does defend himself and then get to the upgrade. The issue he has, I mean, he has several issues, but one of them is 100k of debt.
Yeah. DT with 135,000. I mean, surprised he's not making more of a test pad.
Yeah, it's going into carbon scrubbing, so it's going to get a little bit maybe of a benefit from that. That does open up the electronics and the chem markets to him, and yeah, he's going to put 3 electronic factories down. You get a bit of money from that. Here comes the aggression from DT, though. Has the 100% on Tesseract, and Tesseract is nowhere near being able to defend themselves.
Well, he's maybe 40%, potentially 40% defense. It's going to be nowhere near what you need or want.
Yeah, afraid not. DT, whether he's going to sell out of his own stock, I assume, and finish this buy. Does he even need to? He might not even need to.
No, he's got plenty of money coming in.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it's going to be another majority buy for DT. There it is.
There's the red button and DT presses it. Wow, only Philathantic now to clean up.
Yep. And DT takes the upgrade, sells out of his stock, takes the upgrade. And Philathantic finishes defending himself, so no more majority buys for DT, unless something weird happens. Or the Philathantic again selling out of his stock after buying it.
Well, off-wheel markets are looking pretty tasty. O2 could be launched for 43k profit, fuel for 40k profit.
Yeah, the issue DT is going to have with that is that he doesn't really have. I guess he has teleportation, but he doesn't really have any means to make life support. Having said that, he's got those 4 claims just near Philathanic's base, so I assume that some or maybe all of those are going to be water.
It seems that way. He's going to want a nice big pile of water coming in.
Oh, there we go. 2 condensers, 2 farms is his solution to that particular problem. So he is able to make those off-world resources.
But whether he's going to want to put enough world up or not, I think he's going to need to polish this game off. I mean, Philathantic desperately needs now 2 off-worlds, really.
Yeah, he really does. It's not going to be easy for him to get them. Glass quite expensive, electronics also quite expensive. DT's got a little bit more of a roadblock in terms of the steel though. At the moment it's 110,000 for DT to build an off-world, and for Philathantic only 80,000, so that's one potential advantage, but honestly this sub-income right now for DT is going to be really big, although Phil has invested into Andreas as a sub as well, so he's going to get some of that, but certainly it's a difference at the moment of about 500 in terms of sub-income, which is quite a lot of money.
It is, yeah. I don't know, Philathantic needs to do something desperately.
Phil also
but
aggressing in the short term as well, trying to make Philathantic at least defend himself. He does have the money to do it.
Yeah, it's going to be a good move for DT to have his get Philathantic tied in stock. That's money he's not going to be spending on off-worlds or going into hacks. Just keep his money tight for him at the moment for the minute.
Yeah, he does have potential late-game advantages. As I say, he's got this this expansive situation for him. He's also got a few patents. He's scrapped the patent lab now, gone instead into the optimization center, so going to be looking to optimize, I would imagine, life support.
Yeah, but an off-world market would be the way that he gets back into the game.
Yeah, it would. Doesn't quite have the money for it at the moment.
No. He's forced to put some wind turbines up, take advantage of this pretty decent power price, but
yeah. Interesting decision. I guess that was his only real way into power. The 3 very weak wind turbines. Doesn't have any claims left to do anything else now, and solar panels are really quite expensive. So
yes, remaining high.
20k per solar panel right now.
Ouch. There's some silicon coming in, but only enough really to run some glass if he wanted to.
Yeah, here's an auction that Phil, I guess, didn't really want to see. This might go for a lot of money. It's a good optimization center, and it's exactly what Death Tacticus needs as the piece of his puzzle. Let's go for 32. That's 28, in fact. That seems quite cheap.
Yeah, it's worth having, definitely. Although, Philathantic's going to need to watch his debt. Doesn't need to have these 3 claims tied up in wind turbines. I mean, each of these tiles is earning $10 a time.
Yeah, it's absolutely no money now. The power price died in a hurry. Was there a surplus in there? I don't know. There wasn't a surplus in there. So I don't know where that came from.
Food shorts coming down from DT at the moment.
There was a mass purchase of wind turbines from Andreas's sub. That was where that came from.
DT messing with Philathantic there, virus in his chem labs, jacking up the price of fuel.
Yep.
What's to see?
Well, DT said before the game that he was in a 1v1 mindset, and guess what? This is 1v1. We've disposed of 2 players, and yeah,
3v1 really, isn't it?
Yep, it kind of is. DT with nearly $250,000 in the bank, not actually a million miles away from taking this one out altogether. Phil not really able to make any money, has the virus on the chems, which are losing money.
Yeah, DT needs about another 100k just to clean this up.
Yeah, a little bit more than that, 200k or so, but yeah, like it's not a huge amount given the amount that he's going to be able to earn either from hacks or from just base resources. These reactors are very good. These farms in the north and this water in the north is also pretty good right now.
Yeah, DT just hasn't got an amazing amount of claims to work with, but it's a decent sub income, so that's every little bit's gonna help.
Yep, and the nukes continue to rain down. That's an interesting decision to nuke the aluminium tile just next to Philothanic's base. It does have slant drilling, so it's not enormously effective, and aluminium not very good right now. $40.
No, I think he's probably trying everything he can to make these electronics factories a little bit less profitable. But it is a difficult choice.
So 2 more solar condensers coming down for DT in the north as he tries to get himself over the line. I don't think we'll be seeing any off-worlds from him. I think he's intent on...
need one, does he?
No, I think he's intent on finishing this game without. And Phil trying to be aggressive in response, but it's just not a huge amount as the patent lab goes completely unclaimed. But it's just doesn't have enough money. The stock price is so high, 70,000 for each one of these pips of 1,000 stock, and Phil just not making that amount of money really.
No, Phil can't afford to buy his stock. Unfortunately, it's just too high. Once you get a subsidiary or two.
Yeah, and DT can defend himself. You're breaking up a little bit on Skype. I don't know if it's a mic issue or a connection issue.
Okay.
But yeah, DT, like, he's got the money to defend himself if he needs to, and he's got everything in hand. I think he's going to try and finish this game without buying those 3 pips of stock to take him up to 5, and he might just be able to. Here comes a hack, an oxygen hack.
I think you'd probably be able to get away without buying any of his stock. I mean, even if he does buy a little bit of his stock, you're just pushing the game another couple of minutes longer.
Yeah.
Not really in doubt at this point, I don't believe.
Yeah, and if Phil gets to the 5th pick and ever looks in serious danger, then DT can just buy those 3 pips quickly. That's how the mechanic works. You have a long cooldown before you can buy the last one.
Less than 50k now for DT just to polish this off.
Yep, and there was the hack. It's less than that. There's the red button, and there is game number 1 over 2 Death Tacticus. Never really looked in any doubt, did it? Very impressive performance from the veteran.
Once he'd taken out Andreas G, it was looked easy.
Yeah,
Just looked a matter of time.
yeah, it really did. So well played, Death Tacticus. And again, we mentioned the water being a little bit of a problem in the early game, but the fact that, I mean, he got the water eventually, but that wasn't really until HQ5. Like, he just didn't need it as a robot. He played with power, he played with the iron and steel markets, and yeah, didn't really have any real problem making money at all.
Yeah, it was that iron hack. As soon as he got that really profitable iron hack off, then it was just game over, really. It enabled him to take out the scavenger, and of course slow everybody, all the other steel users down because of the dodgy iron situation.
Yeah,
it was a nice move.
Yeah, it was that combination of the EMPs that rained down, the nukes that rained down on everyone's iron. DT had that plan from the start of the game and was able to execute it really well. And again, that's what makes our very good players particularly difficult to beat. And he showed all of that today, or with that game 1. Andreas, let me talk a little bit about this found, because he took it for a lot of money. It was a really good found, but it was a lot of money that he took it for. 42,000 of debt. Immediately put him at a B rating. And just that amount of debt, really difficult to recover from without really any reliable way to get into power early.
Yeah, it was, I can see why he did it, but with so much ice on the map, well, not a huge amount of ice, but there was ice for people to use, it just seemed he slightly overpaid and then paid the price for it.
Yeah, and he didn't even get any of his carbon nuked. We talked about the nukes early in the game, but DT not interested in the carbon, instead going for the iron nukes, and they worked out really well. So that is game